Hello and a very good morning. You're watching the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are this morning's headlines. Pakistan postponed SAARC summit after 5 member nations decide to boycott, says members have violated SAARC charter. Sri Lanka latest to withdraw. Centre issues countrywide alert following surgical strikes in POK, asks states to heighten vigil to foil attempts of attack by Pakistani-based terror groups. Vice President concludes 5-day visit to Africa. On final day of his visit in Mali, calls for comprehensively dealing with cross-border terrorism. Karnataka Chief Minister calls all-party meeting again over Kaveri water dispute. Supreme Court on Friday reprimanded the state for not releasing water to Tamil Nadu, warns it against inviting wrath of the law. And Russia-backed Assad regime prepares for ground assault in Aleppo as humanitarian situation continues to remain grim. US-Russia bickering over ceasefire agreement continues. Well, Pakistan has postponed the SAARC summit that was to be held in Islamabad in November and said a new set of dates will be announced soon. This comes after Sri Lanka too pulled out of the summit on the issue of terrorism, taking Pakistan's international isolation a step further. Now, neighboring Afghanistan has already supported and justified India's surgical strike against Pakistan. The US has also asked Pakistan to act against Jaish and Hizbul leaders. Here's more.
Nearly 10,000 villagers living along the international border and line of control in Jammu and Kashmir have been moved to safer locations. Army Chief Dalbir Singh is expected to visit Army's Northern Command in the state today to review the security situation post the surgical strikes on terror launch pads in POK.
पाकिस्तान की कोई दहशत नहीं साडे मन ते दो लड़ाइयां असीं लड़ियां ने इन्हां कईयां ने नहीं वेखियां जिन्हां वेखियां ने ये आप नाल खड़े हो के लड़ाई लड़ते रहे.
Home Minister Rajnath Singh reviewed the security situation along the border in a high-level meeting in Delhi on Friday. Singh also assuring that all attempts are being made for the release of an Indian soldier who inadvertently crossed over to Pakistan. The centre issued a countrywide alert asking states to heighten vigil to foil any attempt by Pak-based terror groups to carry out attacks. Pakistan postponed the SAARC summit slated to be held in Islamabad in November after 5 member states of the group decided against attending it. Islamabad has said that the decision to boycott the summit has violated the SAARC charter. Afghanistan has come out strongly in support of India's anti-terror strikes in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir.
We are against all terrorist groups. We don't make distinction between terrorist groups. Wherever those sanctions are, they should be dealt with strongly and they should be taken out of wherever they exist.
Earlier, Afghanistan had followed India in pulling out of the SAARC summit in Islamabad. On Friday, Sri Lanka also announced that it will not take part in the Islamabad SAARC summit. Stating that the environment wasn't conducive for the summit, a press release by the Lankan Foreign Ministry said peace and security are under threat in the region because of terrorism. Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif held a cabinet meeting on Friday, Sharif stating that Pakistan is capable of giving a fitting reply to India.
जहाँ तक मुख्तलिफ इश्यूज़ हैं डिप्लोमेटिक सतह पर तो उनको हैंडल कर रहे हैं लेकिन खुदा न खास्ता अगर उन्होंने कोई और कार्रवाई की उसके लिए भी हम तैयार हैं. हमारी फ़ौज मजबूत है और इंशाल्लाह हम अपनी हिफाजत पूरी तरह करना जानते हैं.
हम फिर इस बात को रीइटरेट करते हैं, इसका इरादा करते हैं कि हम एस्केलेशन नहीं चाहते, लेकिन अगर हमारे पे फायर किया गया तो उसका मुनासिब जवाब ज़रूर दिया जाएगा.
JUD chief and mastermind of the 2008 Mumbai attack, Hafiz Saeed, warning India of a befitting response for its military operation in POK. The US has supported India on its surgical strike by asking Pakistan to crack down on terrorists in the region. It has also named the Jaish and Hizbul organizations in this regard.
We believe that continued communication is obviously important to reduce tensions. We've repeatedly expressed our concerns regarding the danger that terrorism poses to the region, and we all know that terrorism in many ways knows no border. We continue to urge actions to combat and delegitimize terrorist groups like LET and the Haqqani network, Jaish-e-Mohammed. So this is something that we're obviously keenly focused on.
UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon and China have expressed concern on the escalating tension in the region. They urged both India and Pakistan to resolve their issues through dialogue. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, Russia on Friday voiced concern over the situation between India and Pakistan, saying it expects Islamabad to take effective steps to stop the activities of terrorist groups in its territory. In a statement, Russia said that it stands for decisive struggle against terrorism in all its manifestations. It asked India and Pakistan to settle existing problems by political and diplomatic means through negotiations. The statement has come as India tries to isolate Pakistan internationally, the latest being the boycott of the SARC summit in Islamabad. Meanwhile, Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari has concluded his 5-day visit to Nigeria and Mali. During the visit, the Vice President met with top leaders of the two countries and held discussions on a range of issues, including cooperation in the field of security, defense, culture, infrastructure, and fight against terrorism.
Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari once again pressed on the urgent need to deal with cross-border terror in a comprehensive manner. Addressing the National Assembly of the Republic of Mali, the Vice President said terrorist actions cannot be justified on any grounds, and India strongly condemns terrorism in all its forms.
The spreading tide of extremism and terrorism is a threat we both face. We in India face it from across our borders. Terrorist actions cannot be justified on any grounds. India condemns terrorism in all its forms and manifestations and is of the view that international and cross-border terrorism should be dealt in a comprehensive manner.
Vice President Ansari also said that India sees itself as a partner in Mali's reconstruction, economic development and growth. India has extended 7 lines of credit worth $353 million to Mali and signed 2 MOUs, including one on cultural exchange.
We welcome the signing of the Agreement for Peace and Reconciliation and hope that it would lead to unity, preservation of territorial integrity, lasting peace, development and prosperity. My government appreciates the wisdom of Malian leadership that facilitated the signing of the agreement.
This was the first high-level visit by any Indian leader to the African nation Mali. The Vice President also visited Nigeria, where he held wide-ranging discussions with the Nigerian leadership. This is Amrita Rai and Anu Diwan's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has once again convened an all-party meeting today to discuss the future course of action in the Kaveri water distribution row. This after the Supreme Court ordered for release of 6,000 cusecs of Kaveri water per day till October 6th to Tamil Nadu on Friday.
The Supreme Court came down heavily on Karnataka on Friday, reprimanding the state for ignoring its order to share Kaveri river water with neighbour Tamil Nadu. Warning the Karnataka government against the wrath of law, the Supreme Court directed the state to shed its defiance and release 6,000 cusecs of Kaveri river water to Tamil Nadu every day from 1st to 6th of October. Condemning the state, a bench of Justices Deepak Misra and UU Lalit said it is clear as crystal that all authorities are bound to work in aid of Supreme Court and they are bound to obey the orders of Supreme Court. But unfortunately, Karnataka being a state is flouting the orders of the court. The Supreme Court bench also directed the centre to constitute the Kaveri Water Management Board by 4th of October.
20 तारीख से और 12 तारीख के बाद से ऑर्डर को तो पूरी तरह से उन्होंने इम्प्लीमेंट किया नहीं है और उन्होंने ये स्टैंड भी लिया है कि हम इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं करेंगे, बट हम चाहते हैं कि भाई लॉ ऑफ द लैंड को फॉलो करें और दे शुड ओबे एंड पानी हमको छोड़ना चाहिए क्योंकि हमको पानी की दिक्कत है.
Supreme Court has not considered the ground realities in judging the requirements of the water of both the states. They have gone by the tribunal order, which has been challenged through civil petitions, and it is coming up in 3 men judges on October 18th.
Meanwhile, the Union Water Ministry has asked all 4 Kaveri Basin states, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Puducherry to nominate their representatives to be appointed on the Kaveri Water Management Board by today as directed by the Supreme Court. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also held a meeting on Friday to discuss the Kaveri water stalemate. In view of the fresh Supreme Court order, security was tightened in and around Bengaluru. As a precautionary measure, over 450 people were taken into preventive custody and police deployed additional personnel in sensitive areas. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the second meeting of the GST Council headed by Finance Minister Arun Jaitley agreed on 5 subordinate legislations dealing with issues ranging from registration to invoicing under the new goods and services tax regime. It also agreed on the treatment of exemption from GST. Currently, the centre gives exemption to 11 states, mostly in northeast and hilly regions, from the excise duty, as also many states give the same as incentive for setting up industry. The council decided that under GST, which will subsume excise duty and VAT among other levies, taxes will have to be collected and it can be reimbursed from the annual budgets to the exempted categories. But there were divisions over ratifying or approving the minutes of the first meeting of the council held last week. At least 2 states disagreed with the decisions reached at the first meeting on service tax assessment.
हमने अभी टारगेट ये रखा है कि 22 नवंबर से पहले हम काउंसिल के जो मेन निर्णय हैं, इंक्लूडिंग रेट एंड ड्राफ्ट लेजिस्लेशन, उनको पूरा कर दें.
Meanwhile, India's biggest auction of telecom spectrum kicks off today with 7 operators in the fray for a total of 2,354.55 megahertz across 7 bands. A reserve price of 5.66 lakh crore rupees has been fixed by the government. India's biggest telecom players, Bharti Airtel, Vodafone, Idea Cellular and new entrant Reliance Jio Infocom, are amongst 7 companies that are in the fray for the bidding. Other bidders include Reliance Communications, Aircel and Tata Teleservices. As much as 2,354.55 megahertz of frequency is being put up for auction in 7 bands. The radio waves being put up for auction can be used for 2G, 3G and high-speed 4G mobile services. This is more than the cumulative spectrum holding of the top 4 operators. Meanwhile, this is the first time radio waves in 700 megahertz band will be put up for auction, and it is priced at 4 lakh crore rupees at the reserve price. However, the operators and analysts have said that the pricing in this band is too high. Well, fuel prices have been revised yet again. Petrol prices have been hiked by 36 paise a litre, while that of diesel has been cut by 7 paise per litre. The price change is in effect from the midnight of October 1st. This is the 3rd increase in rates in petrol in 2 months, while in the case of diesel, it is the 2nd price reduction within a month. As per the statement issued by the Indian Oil Corporation, the current level of international product prices of petrol and diesel and rupee-US dollar exchange rate hiked the selling price of petrol and decreased the selling price of diesel. It also said that the movement of prices in the international oil market and rupee-US dollar exchange rate will be monitored closely, and developing trends of the market will be reflected in future price changes. This is how much petrol and diesel will cost in metro cities after the latest revision. Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
If you look at the cellular level, there is always a DNA change that precipitates cancer. In the sense of the DNA, cancer is a completely genetic disease. In India, oral cancer is the maximally prevalent form of cancer among males in India. Among females, it's cervical cancer, but breast cancer is taking over.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Partha P. Majumdar, Director, National Institute of Biomedical Genomics, only on Rajya Sabha TV.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, the Supreme Court on Friday cancelled the bail petition of RJD leader Mohammad Shahabuddin 3 weeks after he walked out of Bhagalpur Central Jail. The top court immediately ordered the Bihar government to take Shahabuddin into custody and also directed it to speed up the murder trials against the gangster-turned-politician. Here's more.
Hours after the Supreme Court cancelled his bail petition, former RJD MP Mohammad Shahabuddin surrendered before a Siwan court on Friday. Speaking to media persons, Shahabuddin said he respects the judiciary and will abide by the court order.
मैंने हमेशा न्यायालय का सम्मान किया है और आज भी उसी कड़ी में सम्मान करते हुए जैसे अभी आदेश आया भी नहीं, टीवी पर न्यूज मिला, हम लोग जुम्मा की नमाज पढ़े और सीधा चले आए यहाँ.
Shahabuddin's petition was challenged by the parents of Rajiv Roshan, the sole eyewitness to the murders of his two brothers in Siwan. Rajiv was killed just days before he was to testify against Shahabuddin, who is one of the prime accused in the murders.
भयभीत लोगों के लिए और दुखित परिवार के लिए जो हुआ सो माने हम इसको सबसे बेहतर कहेंगे कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जो फैसला दिया है वो सराहनीय फैसला है.
The apex court also pulled up the state government for its shoddy approach in the case, even as it issued directions to expedite the murder cases against Shahabuddin.
During the hearing of this case, the Supreme Court made its displeasure clear against the Bihar government for having waited for several days before appealing the bail granted to him in this Rajiv Roshan case, for not appealing the bail granted to him in the other cases, and for allowing, or rather not doing anything about the stay of trial of about 45 cases of Shahabuddin.
The opposition also came down heavily on the Nitish Kumar government, describing Friday's verdict as a major embarrassment for the state government.
जब तक शहाबुद्दीन को तिहाड़ जेल में नहीं रखा जाएगा और तमाम मामलों का ट्रायल बिहार के बाहर नहीं होगा, तब तक शहाबुद्दीन बिहार के जेल में रहें बाहर रहें कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला है. और इस मुद्दे पर नीतीश कुमार की सरकार ने चुप्पी साध लिया है, जबकि नीतीश कुमार को सुप्रीम कोर्ट में प्रे करना चाहिए था कि शहाबुद्दीन को बिहार से बाहर रखा जाए और उसके तमाम मामलों का ट्रायल किया जाए.
The Patna High Court granted Mohammad Shahabuddin bail on the 7th of September on grounds that the murder trial against him will take a long time. The former RJD MP is facing more than 40 cases, including those of abduction and murder. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, let's now listen to some reactions coming in from various political leaders.
It's a welcome step, in right direction. And in the first place, the bail to Shahabuddin should not have been given. But the Nitish Kumar government deliberately, because of the alliance partner, and also Nitish Kumar wanted to keep his chair as the chief minister, allowed the bail to be given in High Court to Shahabuddin, who is a criminal. And the display we saw of the number of cars that went through the toll gate, in itself it shows that there is a lawlessness in Bihar.
ये तो कोर्ट का फैसला है, सबके लिए मान्य होगा और सुप्रीम कोर्ट के फैसले की तो कोई अपील भी नहीं हो सकती है.
It's a regular process. It's a regular judicial process. The Honorable High Court has given him the bail, and we went against it to the Supreme Court because we were not satisfied, and we have been following this process for the last 11 years. And the Honorable Supreme Court has cancelled his bail. It's not a matter about individual. It's just a policy of the Bihar government that if we are not satisfied with anything, we move to the apex court. And the Honorable Supreme Court has given its verdict. We all will respect it.
बिहार सरकार अपने आप में टेरर है. कभी शराब के नाम पर टेरर हो जाता है, कभी शाहबुद्दीन जी के नाम पर. बिहार पहले अपने गिरेमान झांक करके देखे ना कि कितने शाहबुद्दीन बिहार सरकार के साथ है.
I think it's a tight slap on the so-called Sushashan of our CM Nitish ji. Repeatedly, he talks about Sushashan, and we have seen that in his working period only criminals like Shahabuddin get bail so easily. So I think in a way, court has set a precedent also that in coming days, all the culprits, see, there cannot be a good culprit and a bad culprit, I mean, when it's of RJD, now Nitish cannot say that he was a bad culprit. So similarly, all the culprits of JDU also will have to face equal trial. So I think it's a good decision taken by court.
Meanwhile, the Patna High Court on Friday quashed a notification of banning liquor in Bihar. The court quashed the April 5th notification of the Bihar government banning consumption and sale of alcohol in the state. The court said that the notification is ultra vires to the constitution and hence not enforceable. The Grand Secular Alliance government, led by Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, had first banned manufacture, trade, sale and consumption of country-made liquor since April 1st, but later imposed a blanket ban on all types of liquor, including foreign liquor. Now, dissatisfied with the court order, the Chief Minister has now called a cabinet meeting on October 2nd, in which an amended liquor law passed by both houses of the state legislature and consented to by the governor is likely to be approved for notification, with an aim to continue with prohibition in the state.
जो उसमें फैसले के निर्धारित बिंदु हैं उनका अध्ययन करेगी और जो न्यायिक विकल्प जो समक्ष होंगे उनका इस्तेमाल सरकार करना चाहेगी।
हम शराबबंदी के पक्ष में हैं, तो इस पर भी सरकार की किरकिरी हुई है और हम लोग के कहने के बावजूद सरकार ने जिस तरह का ड्रैकोनियन तालिबानी कठोर कानून बनाया था उसको हाईकोर्ट ने निरस्त कर दिया।
आपकी सोच अच्छी थी, पहल बहुत अच्छी थी, शराबबंदी के खिलाफ हर राजनीतिक दल ने आपका इसमें समर्थन किया, बट उस कानून जो आपने उसको लेकर बनाया वो सरासर गलत था और उसकी खिलाफत लोक जनशक्ति पार्टी लगातार करती रही कि कानून गलत है जिस तरीके से कानून बनाया गया है। और मुझे लगता है कि न्यायालय की तरफ से भी जो आज फैसला आया है वो इसी बात को दर्शाता है कि आपने जो कानून बनाया वो गलत था।
Moving on to some international news. Now, the humanitarian situation continues to be grim in the Syrian city of Aleppo, which reels from an intense week-long aerial bombardment. Russian-backed Assad regime now prepares for a ground assault to take the city from the rebels. UN says 400 civilians have been killed in the last 1 week, and people are facing food and medicine shortages. This even as US and Russia continues to bicker over a new ceasefire agreement, with the US even threatening it may end cooperation with Russia for action in Syria.
Defense workers searching desperately through the remains of a building in Idlib in northern Syria. They are looking for any survivors as airstrikes continue to hit civilian buildings in government's pursuit of taking over the rebel-held areas. A 1-month-old baby is pulled out. She is alive. A rescue worker breaks down. To the northeast of the city, Aleppo is facing devastation of an equal measure. It is exactly a week into an intense offensive launched by the Syrian forces to retake rebel-held districts of Aleppo, and a year since Russia began its air campaign in the country. A monitoring group says around 3,800 civilians, almost a quarter of them children, have been killed in the last 1 year. The already dire humanitarian situation in eastern Aleppo is worsening by the day. As their homes are bombarded, a resident complains that there is not even a firefighting vehicle to douse the flames.
هون هلا نفذ عنقودي على حي الأنصاري، أدى لاحتراق مبنيين بالكامل، ومثل ما لكم شايفين عاجزين نحن بسبب قلة الآليات عنا، عم نطفي بملحق عادي يعني أطفائية ما بقيان عنا آليات متعادة.
The US and Russia have failed to reach a consensus on how to renew the ceasefire that was imposed earlier, US even threatening to call off the talks. While US demands Russia puts an end to the airstrikes that are targeting civilians, Russia accuses US of not honoring its promise of separating moderate rebels from terrorists. The United Nations and World Health Organization continue to demand allowing evacuation of sick and wounded people.
East Aleppo this minute is not at the edge of the precipice. It is well into its terrible descent into the pitiless and merciless abyss of a humanitarian catastrophe unlike any we have witnessed in Syria.
An escalation in assault. Aleppo is witnessing some of the worst violence since the start of the war in 2011. With government forces all set for a ground assault and US-Russia talks failing to agree on a ceasefire, it seems there are tougher times ahead for the civilians of the beleaguered city. On Friday, Pope Francis held prayer for the victims of war. For now, it seems prayers is all that Aleppo residents have with them. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, India will resume their first innings today in the second test against New Zealand with Riddhiman Saha and Ravindra Jadeja at the crease. India ended day one at 239 for 7 at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata on Friday. Choosing to bat first, India had a poor start, losing 3 wickets early. Both openers Shikhar Dhawan and Murli Vijay and captain Virat Kohli departed without reaching double digits. However, Cheteshwar Pujara and Ajinkya Rahane rescued the Indian ship from a precarious position, both scoring half-centuries in a 141-run fourth-wicket partnership. But the New Zealand bowlers struck back with quick wickets. Pacer Matt Henry finished the day with 3 wickets, while spinner Jeetan Patel took 2. India lead the 3-match series 1-0, having won the first test by 197 runs in Kanpur.
That's a lovely time for...
Well, that's it on this edition of the Breakfast News. Have a good day.